Welcome to Sasco Paw video. We've developed Sasco Paw to meet the onerous requirements of the Road Traffic Act and at the same time to create a cloud-based system that enables weighbridge software and security to be radically upgraded. We know what the requirements of the Road Traffic Act are, but let's just to recap. Transporters must supply permissible weights. Consignors must make sure that the actual axle weights and total weights are within permissible limits. And thirdly, the consignor must prepare records of what has taken place and ideally give all these records to the trucker so that these can be carried on the trip. Let's now look at Sasco Paw. I'll now take you into the practical application of Sasco Paw. Let's skip through the login page. That's very straightforward. Let's go to the first menu that you'll see having logged in. The first menu page has on it horses, trailers, customers, and transmit. I will take you through what each of these databases do. Moving to the horse database. This is used to load all your tractor units into the database. For example, let's go to HH001 PAW. If you look at that, the operator or the logistics clerk will load in the registration of the unit, the make of the tractor unit, its color, the operator's full name, in this case, Paw Test Operator, the operator's address, operator responsible person. Again, we've used a Mr. Paw Tester, their contact details, the type of unit it is. So, for example, if it's a horse tractor unit, we call it a horse. It might be a lorry, it might be a tractor, or it could even be a cement mixer. You then input the number of steering axles the unit has, the number of tires per steering axle, the number of drive axles, the number of tires per drive axle, the GVM, the horsepower, the tractor or the horse length, and the tear. In addition, one needs to input the insurance details. I'll explain what all these fields are for when we come to do a Paw transmit. But let's turn now to the trailer database. Let's look at, for example, registration TT001 PAW. This database works very much the same as the horse database. You input the registration, the make of the trailer or the type of trailer, the operator's full name, the operator's address, the operator responsible person, the contact number, and then what type of trailer is it? Is it a flatbed? Is it an interlink? Is it a PBS? There are a whole bunch of options that you can choose. And then you're required to input the number of axle groups. So in this case, it's a triaxle. So there's one axle group with 3 axles and 4 tires per axle. And the rest of the information is much the same as a horse. You've got a GVM and a trailer length, a tear, and the same insurance details. Let's turn now to the customer database. The customer database is the database where you upload all the customers that you're going to be calling on as a transporter. So, for example, if you take Paw customer, there are some fairly standard fields that you're required to input. For example, the customer name, the position of the person at the customer, so logistics manager in this case, an email address for that person, a cell phone number, a contact person, and a site address. Those are your databases, your 3 databases that are used to generate a Paw transmission. If we go to the dispatch of a truck to a particular customer, one then logs into the transmit database. This is the database where the transporter uploads the horse registrations, trailers, and customer details from the database in order to generate a Paw transmit and thereby communicate all the permissible weights and key information that the consignor is going to need in order to complete and comply with the Road Traffic Act 22nd Amendment. So if we look at a sample transmit, here we have a transporter reference code. I've already done the transmission here, so I will just walk you through what has been loaded in this example. So we have a transporter reference code which is unique for every single transmission, which is in this case 15111211HHTT00. This is in part generated from the time and date of the expected arrival at the customer site and the first two letters of each of the horse and trailer units. So in this case, it's 2015, it's the month 11, it's date the 12th, it's the hour 11 is the estimated time of arrival, and the horse registrations are HH and the trailer TT. So that generates a unique number which is very valuable when you come to integrate PAW with an ERP system. In doing a PAW transmit, the first thing the logistics clerk or manager will do is load an arrival date and time, and that comes off a menu and very easy to do. The next thing one does is input a customer number or customer name, and that comes up, that's active fields from the database of customers. A site name, in this case we have a customer called Paw Customer. We have a site called First Site, which then pre-populates the email address. All of that will generate the unique transporter reference code. So in this case, we've also loaded the horse HH001 PAW, the trailer registration TT001 PAW, and we've indicated that it's a collection and that the consignor in this case is in fact us, and the consignee is the customer. We then transmit that. Prior to the transmission being sent, this screen image will come up. In this case, the transmit number is 238, and you'll see a whole array of critical information. The transmission page has on it the horse registration, the make of the truck, the color, the type of vehicle, if it's a horse or a lorry or a cement mixer or a waste truck, any combination, the estimated arrival time, the customer name, the site name, the unique transporter reference number, a description as to who is the consignor and consignee, a trip type, and something called a VCC number, which is a number which PAW generates to identify the precise configuration of the axles of this truck and trailer unit. In this case, we have a VCC number of 1224-3400-0000. This is critical information, as that code will tell an ERP system or a Sasco ProWay Plus weighbridge software system exactly what sort of truck is going to be arriving. In this case, it's a truck with one steering axle, 2 tires per axle, 2 drive axles with 4 tires per drive axle, 1 trailer with 3 axles with 4 tires per axle, and there's no third trailer, hence 0000. Below that, PAW has generated the permissible weights and of course has set out, in compliance with the Act, all the information in relation to the operator that is required to be maintained on the trip document or other documentation that a transporter may wish to carry in his truck. In this case, PAW does it all for you. In addition to that, it's also calculated the permissible weights of each axle group. And it's done this by looking at every single test within the legislation that is required. And this includes both the bridge formula, the GVMs, the horsepower tests, and generates a unique and accurate set of permissible axle groups and a total permissible mass. Below that, you also find the details of who the consignor is and details of who the consignor are. I will take you back up to the top and I'll just show you. In this case, we also have a field here called a TLAN email. This is another functionality which can be activated, and it's used where customers or consignors have their own IT systems and they want to interface PAW with it. When the trucker or transporter does a PAW transmit, the consignor will not only receive an email, but if the TLAN functionalities are activated, that customer will also have a direct feed into his ERP system of all the information that is in fact on this PAW transmit page. In addition, using the TLAN number, this arrival information can also be routed directly to the correct weighbridge system within that customer's group. PAW therefore not only complies or makes compliance with the regulations easily achievable, it also brings to the party a whole different level of security from the perspective of the consignor. Through knowing what type of horse and trailer is arriving, when it is arriving, a high degree of automation can be introduced into weighbridge systems to improve security. That is Sasco Paw.